Ken Newman with Zombie Takeover TV and Ali Hatchet. We're sitting here with Sal Lizard, the infamous vampire Santa. Now, Sal, I understand that you created this vampire Santa original. How long ago did you do this?
Well, it was about 7 years ago, after I started acting in films and started being invited to horror conventions to sign autographs. People would walk up to me because I look like Santa anyway, and they go, "What the fuck is Santa doing at a horror convention?" And I was like, well, I've been in these 24 films, and I just got tired of saying all that stuff. So one day, I had the teeth from the vampire thing I did. I had these eyes from my comedy zombie routine, and I just put it together, put on the suit, walked into the room, and everybody went nuts. And I was a real big hit with the goth kids especially. And I found out that a lot of people, as a Santa, because I'll be honest with you, I've been a real bearded Santa for years. And as a Santa, I pretty much stayed above reproach all the time. And I got to where I didn't cuss, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do anything really that was adult in nature, because I didn't want a child to see me and get the wrong impression of Santa.
Right.
But then all of a sudden I started doing this vampire Santa thing, and it caught on. Now, you know who Ron Jeremy is, right?
Yes, yes.
Ron Jeremy called me a fucking genius one time because and I said, "Really? How so?" He goes, "Well, because guys that look like you, that look like Santa, when they flirt with girls, they just come across as creepy. But because everybody knows that vampires are sexual, seductive creatures, you've legitimized Santa being a dirty old man." And he goes, "And I've seen how the people respond to you. The girls love you. The guys say you're awesome." And he goes, "You get away with shit I can't get away with, and I'm a friggin' porn star." So what happens is, as I started, guys would say, "Hey, can I get a picture of you biting her on the neck? Can I demonstrate something with you?"
Absolutely.
Come here just for a second. All right, now don't try this at home. This is best left for the professionals. Just have a seat right there.
Oh,
when a
wow.
guy is taking a picture of his girl sitting on my lap, look at where my mouth is. So, we do the photo, right? Sometimes, if I think I can get away with it, we do the photo. And then other times while she's looking at the camera and smiling, I'm like... and so you know what happens. You can stay there if you want, but swing.
I don't know how Nick would feel about that. I'll move over.
Okay, all right. So what happens is, I probably should do equal opportunity, but no.
I'm not employed like that.
So anyway, what happens is, besides that, it might not be a candy cane, and but anyway, so as I started doing this stuff, I realized I'm having a lot of fun. I'm with adults, right? And people are buying me drinks and and all that, and I'm a comedian, and I had a hard time because looking like Santa, everybody wanted me to do blue humor, and a little joke like I'm not the real Santa. I always told people I'm not the real Santa. Hell, I wouldn't know what to give naughty girls. Nice girls. Naughty girls are easy. They just want more batteries. But that upset so many people because they didn't want Santa telling dirty jokes.
Oh, man.
But when I put on the vampire stuff, suddenly I could do anything.
Dang,
And so now I can look at a gal and say, "You know what? If you don't leave me cookies, I'm going to lick your pie." And they just laugh. And so I can get away with that shit that I couldn't get away with before. So what happens is I created this character, and now, after being a vampire Santa for 7 years now, it's almost expected when I go to a show that I'll do the vampire Santa because everybody loves the character. So on Saturdays when I go to shows, I do the vampire Santa. And I do it all day long for photo ops. And it's just fun. When children come around, I try to show them that they're fake teeth and all that, and assure them Santa would like to have fun and dress up too. And especially when it's around Halloween. They like it.
Cool. That's neat. You still, kind of do that. That's,
right.
That's
well, I
amazing.
offer the children candy canes, The older girl children that come by, I offer them candy canes too. But the way I do it, as I present it, is something 6 inches long, stiff, and fun to suck on. I promise him it'll taste good.
I really don't like Santa, but I love you. Like,
Well, thank you,
seriously.
thank you.
No,
I'd love you 2 or
don't
3
be-
times if you'd let me.
Love
Nice.
it. Dirty old man.
I am that. Well, I did
Great.
shower today, but
Yeah.
Yeah, what can I say?
Now,
Go ahead.
No, you're a comedian too, right?
I do comedy. Have you ever heard me tell jokes?
Only a short few.
Okay, well, if
Yeah,
you've never
yeah.
heard me tell jokes, yes, I am. I'm so fucking funny it isn't funny. But no, I've been doing comedy for a while because I started acting 11 years ago. And I kept saying, why can't I get in the big budget films? And they said, well, you're a fat man. The only way you can do that is to be a comedian like John Candy or Jim Belushi or one of those guys. Because even though they're fatter than hell, they still get them in there. And hell, John Candy, he was like the leading man, girls chasing him. Hell, look at Uncle Buck,
Yeah.
And so, I was like, okay, I'll get into comedy. The unfortunate thing was I looked like Santa, so all my comedy had to be G-rated, and it didn't go anywhere. It wasn't until I started doing comedy as a zombie and as the vampire Santa that it really started taking off again. I mean, let's face it, I was supposed to go on stage tonight here at Epic Con, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I was ready to come out and tell everybody, it's been a while since I performed. Well, not really. I performed the other night, but she told me she wouldn't tell, so I probably shouldn't either. But it's been a while since I've done any stand-up comedy in front of a large crowd. They tell you when you're going to stand in front of a large crowd, don't be embarrassed. All you have to do to feel better is just look out at the audience and imagine everybody. I don't do that because, I don't want to see these guys naked. But you gals, I tell you, in my head.
Which I know you were telling me that you actually give away shirts.
I
We were
give away
discussing-
T-shirts,
Yeah,
yeah.
you do.
What happened was, I like women. I love women. And you know what I really like most is their girly parts. Because I'm a guy, what can I say? A gal said to me today, she goes, I don't have a whole lot. And I told her, I said, anything I can get in my mouth, I'm happy with. And if it's too big to fit in my mouth, I'm still happy. But anyway, you know what? Sometimes I have people in my car and we'll be riding along and we'll be having a conversation and the damn GPS sounds just like that. Right? Just as I'm getting ready to say, baby, I love you and all that, all of a sudden it's like, when possible, make a U-turn. I'm like, damn, I'm still trying to get to third base. And it's telling me to turn around and go the other way. And but it does. It just cuts right in like that guy. But anyway, what I was saying is, hell, I forget what, I love girly parts. And so, one time I stuck up a sign and it said, ladies, I have a new cell phone. And if you want to send me some of those special photos, my number is, and I'll give it out there just because I do that, 740-601-7263. You don't have to edit that out. But I said, feel free to send me pictures of your girly part. Or I said special photos is what I said. And suddenly I started getting all these photos. And they're great. They didn't have any heads, but what they had was nice, And so I really appreciated that. And then Rodney Carrington, who's a great comedian himself, he did a song called Show Them to Me. So on my radio station, I actually have a radio station called Sal Lizard Uncensored Radio Programming, or SLURP. What happens is, don't you like that? And what we've done is we redefined on the website so that SLURP is actually means to listen to Sal Lizard's Uncensored Radio Programming. So I have a lot of people that would say, when I shower, I listen to Sal Lizard's Uncensored Radio Programming, but since we've shortened to that, SLURP, girls will say, like these two lesbians, when me and my girlfriend get together, we slur. It makes sense. And so what happens is I was on the Wacky World of Sal Lizard, my weekly radio show, and I said, that guy's annoying.
I know.
Anyway, I hope you can hear me when I say this, because here's what I said. There you go. Here's what I said. I said, I'm really in the mood to see some titties right now. And I said, so let me play a little Rodney Carrington. And I played Show Them to Me. And then at the end of it, I said, and my cell phone number, if you want to send me some photos, is 740-601-7263. And sure enough, I start getting these pictures. Headless bodies, but mostly tits and other things. So what happens is now I'm like, that's become my theme song. And
Nice.
I love it when girls show me their breasts. So what I do is, girls have come up to my table and they've said, you know, how much for a T-shirt? And I said, you know what? I usually get $20 for a T-shirt. And they go, oh well, is there any way I can get it cheaper? And I go, you know what? Show me your tits. I'll give you a T-shirt. And I've had people that want to sit near me at these conventions because the girls will show me their tits. And so, you know, yeah, if you ever see me at a convention, ladies, and you want a T-shirt, just come by and show me your tits. I'll be glad to give you one. Guys, you can, but I won't promise you a damn T-shirt.
Right.
But I did have a gal, Kayla Perkins, one time said, "My God, Sal, sitting next to you, I don't know how girls can keep from becoming lesbians. These are some great-looking women walking by here."
Jeez.
You know? So yeah, I have such a sucky life, I'll tell you.
Terrible,
Sounds
right?
like it.
Yeah.
And let me elaborate. We decided to try to do an unfiltered show with Sal because he is raunchy, dirty old man, and they decided to do a wrestling thing out here, and it kind of overwhelms all the sound and stuff. But we're trying to make do on location to get this done. So.
I was invited to wrestle. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I was at a convention and these wrestlers came up to me and they said, "Hey, we'd like for you to wrestle as Vampire Santa." I said, "Look, I don't wrestle with guys because I'm too damn homophobic." I said, "I might grab a body part I don't want to get a hold of." I said, or worse, one of them might grab mine and it might feel good.
With the chick wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like it's a little curious there.
So I said, you know, if you have any female wrestlers, and this female wrestler came up to me and said, "You know, I'm calling you out." And I said, "Oh my gosh," she was a good looking little gal, blonde hair, nice tits. And I said, "You know what? Yeah, you and we can body slam each other until we're both happy." I do most of my wrestling between the sheets, but you know, on the stage with an audience, that was kind of interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
A little change up, make a little thing spicy. In the room.
Yeah. And somehow, in all that maneuvering and wrestling around, her crotch wound up right here in my face, you know, so that was
Convenient.
kind of cool. I know. So what does she do? She finally gets her 3 count and she rolls off. The first thing she says to the ref is, "Did he bite me? Did he bite me?" What can I say?
That was good.
Yeah. Cool. So how are you liking Epic Con, by the way?
How am I liking Epic Con?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? My grandfather told me a bunch of things when I was a kid, like if you're not in bed by 11, go home, you're probably not going to do any good anyway. But one of the things he taught me was go through life, have fun. And if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And he said that is marriage, work, everything. Life's too damn short, so have fun. And the best way to have fun is make sure the people around you are having fun.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I come to these things, I come here to make $1 because I am a whore, you know. But I'll do just about anything for $1 except a guy. But what happens is I come here to make some money because this is what I do. Acting doesn't pay all that well. But if I don't lose money and I make friends, I consider it a win, you know?
Right.
And I ran into you guys
Right,
here.
I know. At the hotel yesterday, we actually done a wrap up of our day, and we talked about that. That we ran into you at the hotel, had a drink, and
Spent a couple hours just hanging out, having fun.
Yeah.
And who did we run into last night? The last person.
Oh, geez,
The
yeah.
last person I thought I'd ever see in my life happened to been Jerry Springer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the gentleman walked up, your friend, and he was like, "Oh my gosh!" I walk in, and I got Sal on one side, Jerry Springer on the other, and I don't know what to do. Like,
You know, the thing of it is he's married, and I know Dave and his wife, and I've known him for years, and he's a good guy. I mean, there's a few guys out here that they've known me long enough to know I flirt with their wives. You know, they trust me. I don't know why, but they do. And what happens is so I said, it's funny because Jerry Springer's here and I'm here. I said, Monday you're going to wind up on a stage with Laura, and then I'm going to wind up walking out, and then you're going to say, "Well, hell, I knew that."
nice. I do have to ask. We just went and got your new DVD of the movie, the Help. What is it? Help me out.
Hillbilly Bob Zombie.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Okay.
I'm excited to see it, so no spoilers.
Oh,
but you
okay.
were telling me.
Well, I
it's
got to tell you a
super-
little
Yeah,
bit.
it's super raunchy. We
Taste
talked about
It
it
is.
yesterday.
It is.
Yeah.
So what happens is this movie, Hillbilly Bob Zombie. My good friend Ray Basham, he goes, "I'm getting ready to shoot this film, and it's my first film, and I've never shot a film before, and I know I'm going to fuck it up." He goes, "So, what I was hoping is, since you're a stand-up comic, can you take my script and write jokes for it?" And I said, "Okay, sure, I can do that." And he goes, I said, "What level of jokes do you want this? PG-13, R, what?" He goes,
Right.
"Nope, unrated. I want you to pull out all the stops. I want you to put in every hillbilly joke you can think of." So there's jokes in there about every hillbilly cliche, incest, incest and stupidity, things like that. All those jokes are in there. And then what happens is I was down in Columbus, Ohio, because this was shot in Ohio. And I was in Columbus, Ohio, and we wound up, I go to an agency and even ran into a black guy. And I said, you want to be in the film, but, is it all right if we call you nigger? And he said, well, it worked for Cleavon Little in Blazing Saddles. Because, I just want you to understand, hillbillies are not politically correct people. So what happens is Robert's in there eating watermelon, and so we pick on everybody in this. It's probably the second worst film I ever did, but it's only because of all the technical problems that Ray was talking about. But it is a hillbilly farce, and people tell me the comedy is hilarious in it. There's a lot of contradictions, logical and just contradictions in reality. But the movie is such that, even though I say it's the second worst film I was ever in, it's probably the most fun film I ever did. And people will come up to me and they'll say, I saw your movie and I want my own copies. And I'm always amazed at that. And, people buy copies for their friends. I don't know how many times people have come up to me and go, I loaned out your film, and somewhere along the line, when I got it back, the DVD's missing. So my damn friends, one of them kept it, So anyway, it's a popular film, and I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, man, we're super excited to check it out.
We're going to make it a big weekend out of it.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It was actually suggested that there be a drinking game that goes along with it. The catchphrase in there is, that's good shine. All right? But if you have a shot, every time somebody says that's good shine, you're going to be on your ass in no time at all. So.
All right, that's a challenge.
God, seriously.
That's a challenge.
We will seriously
we'll put that in works.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it.
And let me see. What I always tell people is watch the film with caution. If you watch too much of it, you'll wind up wanting to have sex with your family, or at least, and all the animals around you are going to not be safe, And but I was down in Kentucky, where they celebrate all things hillbilly at this town called Pikesville. They have the Hillbilly Festival. They have the annual Hillbilly Christmas Festival. They love being hillbillies, and that's the first place that I sold that film. And I had a whole stack of this guy came up, and I always wrote things like, thanks for your support, enjoy the film, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I always ask people, what would you like for me to write? And they'd say, write whatever. And I'd go, okay, thank you for your support, please enjoy the film, And then one day I'm down in Kentucky, and this guy goes, and I'm selling this particular film, and this guy goes, I want to buy a copy. And I go, well, let me give you the warning, because I tell people it's so politically incorrect. It's very offensive. Don't let children see it. They won't understand. And, and they always go, oh, now I really want it. So I said, what would you like for me to write in there? And this guy goes, well, you said the film was really offensive. Write something offensive. I went, are you kidding? I could be offensive. And he goes, no, I really write something, the worse the better. And I said, seriously? And he goes, yeah. I said, all right. I said, let me ask you something. I said, is this girl your sister? This is similar to what I wrote in yours.
Oh, yeah.
I said, is this girl your, I said, is this girl your girlfriend? He goes, no, it's my sister. And I said, really, your sister? And he goes, yeah. And I wrote to Bob. I said, I can't believe that you're a real hillbilly if you're here buying this stupid film rather than at home fucking your sister, And he looks at that and he goes, oh my God, I love it. And he showed it to his sister and she goes, oh, that's great. And he goes, I can't wait to go home and show this to Mom. So then the next guy, he goes and he shows it to somebody, and this guy walks over and he's got a copy. And he goes, I want to get a copy of this film. And he goes, write something offensive in there like you did for Bob or Tom or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what's your name? And he said something like, well, it's TJ. And I wrote, you mean like Teejay? And he goes, no, just the two letters, TJ. And I went, that's your name? And he goes, yeah. And I wrote, to TJ. How fucking stupid were your parents that they couldn't even put a vowel in there and make a real name? And what happened was then all of a sudden everybody started coming over buying these things going, write something offensive. Man, you talk about taxing my comedic creativity at that point.
On the spot.
Because I was trying to make every one of them different,
Right, absolutely.
That's when I started writing things like, watch this with caution, otherwise you'll be wanting to fuck barnyard animals.
Now, there's like a long list of things that you put on there, like offensive. What are some of those things?
Oh yeah, if you are black, you're going to be offended by this movie. We did have our token nigger. If you are Asian, you'll be offended by this movie. We have an Asian doctor in there. If you know a person who's a victim of incest, you'll be offended by this movie. If you know somebody who is mentally incapacitated, in other words, retarded, what happens, you'll be offended by this movie. Actually, the guy had a list. If you're a police officer, if you're a federal officer, like FBI or something, and if you own a store, if you're a business person, he kept on with this list about who you will. If you know people that live in Appalachia, you'll be offended. And then finally, at the end of it, he goes, "Hell, if you're sucking air, you'll probably be offended by this movie," which is why I loved it. And
what a hell of a review!
Yeah.
So cool.
My favorite part of the review is my buddy Ray did it, and he used all of his neighbors, and there was only 2 professional actors in there, me and this Tromette gal. And what happened was when one of the reviews came out, it said, obviously people in this film couldn't act, with the exception of Sal Lizard. They said I was great. So
nice. Well, gee, is there any kind of new projects you're working on?
Well, I've got a new thing coming out called Hooked. And Hooked, I play this perverted old sea captain, a crusty old fucker who yells at his men. And I got to tell you, I was shooting that movie, and we took a break, and I went to this restaurant where all the fishermen were eating, and we were shooting on the water on a fishing boat. So all these other fishing boats are around the area at different docks and stuff. And we're at this restaurant where all these fishermen eat, and this guy walks up to me and he goes, "Are you the guy that was doing all the yelling on that boat?" And I was in character still. I went, "Yeah, what of it?" And he goes, "You're a son of a bitch. I wouldn't work for you, you bastard." And I went, "Who in the fuck asked you? Get out of my face." And he goes off, and of course the crew kind of chuckled because I was still in character. But I heard them over there, these fishermen grumbling and looking at me and stuff. But awesome. It's a fun thing to do. And I got to look at some titties in it.
Awesome.
So, yeah, great.
Wonderful.
Good. I'm just making sure everything's good.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, we finally are alone.
Oh, yes. Wow. Well, I was going to ask you, actually, before the close of this, when I was down there, I got a pin. Vampire Santa licked me, but you didn't. So I want to make this come true, sir.
Come here, honey. You might have to adjust your camera.
I got you. I'll take
All right. Here's what I like to do. I started by biting her on the neck. So what I do is I tilt her head over like that. I move their hair, and then I pull things out of the way. Like that. Well, then what happened was I would tell their husband, boyfriend, whatever, I'd say, if I felt comfortable, I'd say, "Let's take one more." And then just as they were getting ready to snap it, I would go. And a lot of girls like that.
Yeah. I finally, I do like Santa now.
Yes,
I really do. I don't like Christmas. I like Santa now.
You know, one of my favorite things was I was at a convention in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And you know who William Herman is? I think I'm thinking right. He played Dennis the Menace's father.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he also was the patriarch in Lost Boys, right?
Okay.
So
I remember that.
He was at a convention, and he sat opposite me. And he came over and he said, "Thank you for making my first convention so interesting. I had so much fun watching you." He goes, "Here's the thing. There was a gal in one of the Friday the 13th movies, and she went running by the camera, and the camera zoomed in on her ass. She had on a pair of blue jogging shorts. So the thing about it is she was famous for her ass. So when she was signing autographs, she had pictures of herself, but then down in the bottom there was a little circle with a picture of her ass on it. So anyway, she comes over to me, and I'm sitting in the lobby, and I'm dressed as Vampire Santa, and she goes, "Can I get my picture taken with you biting me?" And I said, "Oh, sure." She goes, "Well, I have a request. Can you bite me on the ass?" And I said, "Oh, sure." So she kind of bends over in front of me. Well, actually what happened was, if you'll stand up, we only need to see her ass. So what happens is I put my arm out like this, back up just a little bit, and so she just bent over, and I acted like I was biting her on the ass. Well, then she gets up, and after they snap the picture, she gets up and she goes and looks at the camera. And she goes, no, you got to get closer. So she comes back over and goes, "Can we do it again?" I said, "Oh, sure." So I act like I'm biting her on her ass cheek again. And then she goes over and she goes, She goes, no, you got to get closer. And so she drags him up a little closer. She goes, I'm sorry, do you mind? I go, oh, no, I don't mind. So she bends over, and I act like I'm doing it again. And finally, she goes and looks at him. She goes, she takes his hand, she pulls him right over real close. And now, without even asking, she steps over in front of me and sticks her ass in my face. And he goes, I can't believe that girl was doing that. And you were a good sport about it. Good sport. My ass, I liked it. So what happens is so she got her picture, and the next day she gave me an autograph, and she circled her butt cheek and said, here's where you bit me, But it's kind of funny because there was another gal when I was in Lexington, Kentucky, and this gal walked up to me. She had a fishnet hosiery and kind of a short dress, and she goes, can I get a picture of you biting me on the ass? You bite everybody on their necks and their boobs. Can you bite me on the ass? And I said, okay. Well, as she bent over, she's sideways now. I reached and I put my chin basically like in the crack of her ass so that it would look like I was biting the closest cheek, right? And what happened was when I got finished, the guy who was sitting over here said, man, I don't believe that. Do you? And I went, oh, her asked me to bite on her ass. It doesn't surprise me none. He goes, no, she wasn't wearing any underwear. I'm like, she wasn't? He goes, no, she had on that fishnet hosiery, but there was nothing on underneath there. You didn't notice? I'm like, no, damn it. Even I miss out.
Right? I was going to say, missing out if Sarah was here. She's a hips don't lie. She got a hell of an ass. We'd have flicked my neck and bite her ass.
Yeah, put that in there, Frank. Put that in there.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see me do the Tourette's guy's dad? Have you ever seen the Tourette's guy?
No.
Oh, check it out online. It's a YouTube mockumentary called The Tourette's Guy. And people have asked me for years, are you the Tourette's guy's dad? I was contractually obligated to say no. So what I did was I couldn't say no and lie. What I said when people called me up and said, are you the Tourette's guy's dad? I'd say, oh man, I wish I could take that credit. But unfortunately, as an actor, we're not supposed to take credits we're not entitled to.
Right.
Well, while I was entitled to it, I just said, I wish I could take that credit. In no time did I ever say that's not.
You change your damn glasses more than you change your damn shirt. Why don't you try wearing a different shirt for once in your life? Why don't you just fuck off? Yeah. Fuck the Philippines! And fill up my ass. There's like 5 of these assholes.
Dad, Grandpa, Grandma Janelle's leaving. You both need to move your cars.
Ah, shit! Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
I said fuck you first, so fuck you! Hey, there's a whole lot of fucking going on in this room. Fuck you! Well, fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you, whatever mole tat that looks like you! So, you want to talk some shit, huh, Baldy? So, bitch! Fuck! Fuck! Oh, God! Fuck! I don't fucking be an avenue, you little son of a... God damn it, shit! Oh, shit. I hate the shit out of you! God damn, I should never...
So what happened was finally somebody put up a Facebook page where they said, I know this is Sal Lizard, let's get him the credit he deserves for playing the Tourette's guy's dad. Suddenly it winds up in the IMDb, the cat's out of the bag. But in the Tourette's guy's dad, I talk with a gravelly voice like this, and I cuss like crazy. And there's a scene in there where there's this gal, and she's a black gal, and she's an actress, and she had a big ass. I mean, one of those, the body comes down and the ass explodes, one of those things. So I'm this dirty old man in this store, and they're like, check out her ass. And I'm like, I know how to talk to these people. So I walk over, and she's bent over, and I go, damn, bitch, you got a stupid fat ass. And she turns around, and she slaps me and knocks me down. I go, damn, bitch, while I'm on the floor. It was just a fun thing to shoot. But yeah, I do the Tourette's guy's dad also. And it's so much fun for me because anytime I can do a part where I'm not acting like a Santa guy, and I can be this dirty old...
You can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Be as dirty as you want.
Yeah, but when you look like
attitude.
Santa, it's kind of tough. But yeah, I love being able to do these parts. And so now, I'm well enough known in the film community that somebody actually said, by now you're probably America's most lovable pervert. And I said, I hope so.
What a compliment. That's awesome.
Yeah, what the hell? And the thing of it is my thing is I love women, A guy, said to me, hey, you ought to try switching sides. I go, are you kidding? I still love too many women. And there's some I haven't gotten to yet. And once I've gotten through all of them, then maybe I'll try it.
Right, there's time for you.
Right, But, and the thing of it is but the truth of the matter is if I could, there's only one thing that stops me from making love to almost every woman I meet.
What's that?
Almost every woman I meet says no, but if it wasn't for that, I'd be like right in there, I'd be diving in, and it'd be like I'd probably be the skinniest guy because while I'd be eating, I wouldn't be eating, and I'd just like throw my dick over my shoulder if I could, and they'd say, where are you going? I go, I don't know, it's not to work. I'm going to find me a girl. But, yeah, I always thought, I went to a urologist, my age people do that sort of thing, and I always thought, you ought to be able to say, can you supersize that?
Man. Well,
fantastic.
Allie?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming out. It's been fun. I know we've had a blast hanging out. I don't know what else the night's going to bring, but...
Brown chunka brown.
Right?
Nick is going to be like gunning for me.
Right?
Yeah,
No,
right.
he absolutely adores you. He's so happy. Seriously. He got that
So he's
sign.
ready
He's like,
somewhere.
look what he wrote. It's so nasty.
Yeah, he got a T-shirt that says "The Vampire Santa bites," but he also kisses nipples and lips.
Right? You need to make one like the Vampire Santa fucked my girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's
awesome.
right, yeah.
There you go. Next T-shirt.
Yeah, that's it.
I like it.
Also, well, everybody, please check out Sal Lizard. He's a good comedian. He has his own radio show, and he's an
yeah.
amazing actor, and he's a character and a half. So do that, and next time we see you at another con, hopefully it's going to be just the same, and if not better, because we know we will be running to keep this up.
Yeah.
But again, thank you, Sal, for joining us.
Oh
My
goodness.
pleasure.
Thank you. Hugs. Oh, dirty old man. I
That's
love
right.
him.
I just look at those and want to motorboat them. That happened to me one time. One more thing.
Right.
I walked outside of a bar. I was at Dave, the guy you met last night.
Yeah,
He's a police officer, and we were at this convention. We were at the VIP party, and Dave goes, "What is it with you, man?" I go, "What are you talking about?" We were standing at the door, me and him and a filmmaker named Randy. And he goes, "Almost every guy that has come into this party has waved at you or come over and shaken your hand or fist bumped you, and almost every gal has either waved at you or most of them have come over and either hugged and or kissed you." And he goes, "What is it with you?" And I go, "I don't know. I'm just a guy, I'm just out there, I have fun, and I like for people to have fun around me." I said, "That's my only claim to fame." This girl walks up and she starts rubbing my nipple, and I go, "Oh my God!" And she goes, it popped right out, I have to say. And I said, "This is unfair." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I can't rub yours." She goes, "Sure you can." Well, she had on this tuxedo jacket, and the lapel went over her nipple.
Yeah.
So I'm rubbing the lapel, going, "Damn it, I can't feel the fucking thing." And she's like, "Well, here." Opens it up, goes, "Grab a handful." So I'm standing there, and she goes, "Go ahead and tweak the nipple." So I'm doing all that. This guy walks up and goes, "What the hell are you doing?" She goes, "I'm showing Sal my tits." And he goes, "You and your damn tits." And so he starts to walk away. She goes, "I'm going to give him my number." He said, "Whatever." So she takes my cell phone and puts her phone number in there. So I said, "Is that your boyfriend?" She goes, "No, it's my husband." And I thought, "Oh my God, I'm dead." And Dave goes to me, he goes, "How the hell does this happen to you?" And I go, "I don't know." And then this gal comes up, she's dressed as Wonder Woman, and she's standing there, and now I've got a couple of buddies up there, and we're all looking at her, and she looks at me, and she goes, "What?" And I said, "We were all just wondering if the front of your top was going to fall down." And she goes, "No, it's made for me so that it won't do it. Watch this." She puts her hands over her head and starts kind of jumping up and down on her feet, on her heels there. And then she goes, and then she starts twisting side to side. She goes, "See it then?" And I went, "Well, we're all disappointed." And she goes, "Well, hell, Sal, for you." And she just pulls it down, right? And I went, "Damn, I'd fight for those things," because, Wonder Woman flag.
Yeah,
yeah.
I go, "I'd fight for that." And then she puts it back up, and the guys just all looked at me and go, "Thanks, Sal." And so she walks away. And then we go out. The guy goes, "I got to go out and smoke a cigarette." So we walk out, and they start chanting my name, "Sal, Sal, Sal." And he goes, "Are they chanting your name?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Why?" I go, "I don't know." We go outside, and there's a girl out there, and these guys, I hear them go, "Come on, baby, you want to let me." And she looks at me, and she goes, "I'll let Sal do it." And they go, "You let that old fucker do it?" And she goes, well, yeah, I love Sal. She goes, I don't love you. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, oh, they want to motorboat me. She goes, so you can do it for them. And I go, well, okay, I guess. And so I walk over and she pulls her shirt up and I grab both of her boobs and I look over at the guys and I go, guys, I'm doing this so you don't have to. And then I shove my face in there, And then, of course, she's laughing and everything. And then she stops and puts her top down. And Randy goes, how the hell do you do this? I go, I have no idea. But for whatever reason, I seem to get away with a lot of shit most guys can't. Well, as we're walking back in, everybody starts chanting Sal, Sal, Sal again. And Dave says to me, he goes, were they just chanting your name? And I said, yeah. He goes, why? I don't know. But what it is I think it's because I live life. I have fun.
Yeah.
I try to make sure everybody around me has a good laugh.
It's not worth it unless you
know. Yep. Yeah. I'm up front. One guy told me one time, he goes, Sal, I know you. He goes, it was my birthday. And everybody's buying me drinks, and I'm so damn drunk. And he goes, you know what? We want to buy you a drink. And I said, you know what? I've had so much to drink. Couldn't I just get a birthday blowjob instead? And so he says, you know what, honey? Why don't you give him a birthday blowjob? And I go, really? And then he goes, yeah. And I said, you're the second guy that told his girlfriend, wife, whatever, that she could do that. And he goes, well, Sal, I know you. He goes, if anybody tried to take my wife, I'd knock their head off their shoulders. I love my wife. But hell, I've known you for years. You don't want a relationship. You don't want a relationship. You just want a blowjob. Right. And every guy needs that.
When we go out tonight, we're bringing a fucking camera with us. Because seriously, I have a feeling there'll be shenanigans. And yesterday was kind of a bust. So, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he goes, she gives you a blowjob. When she's done, you'll send her back to my room. As long as she uses that damn Listerine, I'm okay with it.
All right, well, on that note, we're going to get back to the shenanigans of Epic Con. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Sal, for being on. You're amazing. And yeah.
You think I'm on now? Wait overnight. Just don't bring Nick.
See you, Horde.
Hey, you know what? Unless he wants to run the camera.
Never with faith in religion, but every time he prayed, it's almost like someone listened. He's walking the streets, but he's lost in a prison. There's no bars and no gates, and he feels like something's missing from the life that he's living. Can't put a finger on it though, cause it's more than just retirement, women and stacking dough. From the bottom to the top, he made it big and watched it go. And his crew that was beside him wasn't there when it's time to roll. Now there's nowhere left to go, only back to the lab as he cracks another bottle and drinks the life that he had. His biggest fear